We're going to go over a few things, and we want to make sure that you write down at least 3 of them. If you want to write down more, that's fine, but try to get at least 3. We're going to be talking about what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to behave on the bus. The first one has to do with how we're supposed to sit in the seat. Now, you heard something in elementary school that kind of talked about this. It was something to something and something to something. It was blank to blank and blank to blank. Does anyone know what that is? What is that?
Back to back and seat to seat.
Back to back and seat to seat. Nicely done. I'm going to add something to that. You want to make sure your feet are underneath your seat as well and your legs are not in the aisle. So that's a good one. Back to back, seat to seat. The next one has to do with who you're supposed to talk to and how loud you're supposed to talk to them. You really only are going to be able to talk to the person that's sitting next to you, and you want to make sure you're using your inside voice. So if your friend is at the front of the bus, you're probably not going to be able to talk to them because you'd have to yell and shout, and we don't want to do that. And the next one has to do with what we're supposed to do with our hands. Can you raise your hand if you can tell me what kafooty stands for, or kafooty? Same thing, means the same thing. What is that? What's that stand for?
Keep hands, feet, and other objects to yourself.
You got it. You got it. So keep hands, feet, and other objects to yourself. That's a good school rule as well. That's a good school rule as well. You also want to make sure you keep everything that you've got with you right next to you. You don't want to put your stuff in a seat and then go sitting a few seats back. You don't want to do that because you might forget it. Keep all of your stuff with you and watch for your bus stop. For those of you that are in band, where are my band people? Where are my band? There's my band people. You're going to be bringing your instrument back and forth almost every single day. So you want to make sure that that stays pretty close so you don't forget it, okay? And last one, this is a very good school rule as well. We're going to use appropriate language all the time. How many of you are aware that there is a camera on the bus? There's a video camera, right? And that also takes audio recording as well. So that's going to listen to not only what you're saying, but it's also going to be watching what you're doing. So we want to make sure we use appropriate language all the time, on the bus and at school. Okay, do we have 2 butts per seat? No more?
No, I have 3 butts. So.
All right, let's go ahead and review back to back, seat to seat. And let's make sure everybody's feet are out of the aisle and everyone's legs are out of the aisle.
Anyway, we have 2 exit doors, one in the rear, one up here in the front. We have 2 roof hatches, one in the rear and one in the front. Those are also exits. Then we have 4 window exits, 2 on each side. 2 in the rear and 2 up here in the front. And they simply open up by opening up the latch and then push. And then you can get on. And that's your emergency exits out of the bus. And they are for emergency only.
It is kind of a special day, so we are actually going to let you guys go at the emergency door, but here's some things to keep in mind. It is a lot higher than you think it is. So it's not a good idea to go running down the aisle and take a flying leap, okay? That's not a good idea. It's a lot higher than you think it is. A really good way to do it is to sit down kind of at the edge and sort of scoot forward, and then you don't have that far to go. Does that make sense? And just like we filled the bus from the back to the front, we're going to empty the bus the same way, okay? So we'll start at the back and sort of empty it from the back.